Now, stay tuned for our half-hour John Telford Show, coming to you live Saturday mornings at 9:30 a.m. and Monday evening at 6:30 on tape on WCHB AM 1340 and 96.7 FM. Dr. John Telford is a former Detroit Public Schools superintendent, former world-class athlete and conqueror of Olympic champions, a championship track coach, poet, newspaper columnist, longtime civil rights crusader, and the author of 6 Detroit-oriented books: The Poet Emperor of Earth, What Old Men Know, Creative Insubordination, The Will Robinson Story, The Poetic Prancings of Mad John, and his explosive autobiography, A Life on the Run. All of his books are available at Barnes & Noble or on Amazon.com or by calling 313-460-8272. That's 313-460-8272. Dr. John Telford has been called a legend and also a lightning rod for controversy. A recipient of the City Council's Spirit of Detroit Award and the Joe Louis Foundation's Spirit of the Champ Award. He was named Wayne State's Alumnus of the Year in 2001, and a Detroit track was named for him. His website is www.alifeontherun.com. That's www.alifeontherun.com. His email is drjohntelfordedd@aol.com. That's drjohntelfordedd@aol.com. If you're listening on a Saturday, you can call into the show now at 313-837-1340. That's 313-837-1340. Now, without further ado, WCHB AM 1340 proudly presents that crusading old native Detroiter, Detroit's very own Dr. John Telford.
Hi-yo, Silver. This is Dr. John Telford, Detroit Public Schools Community District Board of Education candidate, recent unsuccessful candidate, welcoming you back to the half-hour John Telford Show on the all-new WCHB AM 1340. Detroit's gospel and community station at 9:30 on this cloudy Saturday morning of January the 7th in the year of our Lord 2023. I have a vision in my heart and in my spirit and my soul that all the children of Detroit will never have to pay the toll of poverty and ravaged mind, or end up dead or on the dole, but will, through education, find their life-fulfilling future goal. And all of you children, if you're listening today to the John Telford Show, I have that vision for you, and I retain that vision for you. Even though I lost in my most recent bid to get on the Detroit Public School Board, I was running for the Detroit Public School Board because I am very, very concerned that the current board and administration have not fixed the failing reading instruction program. So many of our students, K through 12 and DPSCD, cannot read. They cannot read. And you know, I was up practically all night, at least half the night last night, watching this clown show on CNN. Kevin McCarthy has now been appointed. He's been appointed. I wanted Hakeem Jeffries to be the Speaker of the House, but the House is narrowly dominated by Republicans, and unfortunately, the crazies in the Republican Party, the extremists, the neo-Nazis, about 5 of them, have taken over And Kevin McCarthy, who knows what he has sold out to keep that job. So our Congress is going to have to govern without the House. That's almost the way it looks. Thank God we've still got a majority in the Senate. And that character George Santos is in the House now. A man who's told so many lies. I mean, he told lies to get elected. He's a Catholic, actually. I guess he's a Catholic. He said he's Jewish just to get elected. And told a whole bunch of other monstrous lies about being descended from Holocaust people who were killed in the Holocaust. So we've got a real problem right now in this country, folks. And that's why, I have this vision, for Detroit, but it certainly goes beyond Detroit, that the threat to the survival of American democracy is all too abundantly clear. A would-be dictator and now a cultist political party. Might as well call themselves Retrumplicans because they aren't Republicans anymore. We need a truly multiracial, multi-religious, and non-religious, righteously radical democratic movement that has an all-inclusive, multinational movement, really, beyond capitalism. That's the only movement that can save our democracy and indeed save humankind itself. I realize I'm rambling a little bit today. I didn't prepare a program. I overslept and had some other problems, but I'm always telling my story too on this show. My neighbor across the hall says I do that too often, but my story actually is, I can say it in 3 lines of poetry. I'm the poet in residence over at Frederick Douglass High School over on West Warren. I'm the poet in residence for the Detroit Public Schools. I go around to the high schools reading my poetry. I do that once a month, and I'm over teaching my poetry at Frederick Douglass with my team teacher, Tim Gore, over there once a week. And I'll be back doing that this coming Monday morning at 8 o'clock in the morning. But here's a poem. I could call this a poem, my story. There have been many good women that I've chased. There have been many good causes I've embraced. There have been many great runners that I've raced. And that basically, is my story in those 3 lines. I've raced the fastest runners in the world. Charlie Jenkins was the #1 quarter miler in my day back in the mid-1950s. I beat him 3 times. 2 of the times I beat him, faster time than he won the Olympics in. And Lord knows, there have been many good women I've embraced. 3 wives, my first wife, Adrienne, school teacher. We had a daughter together, Catherine. My second wife, Gina, an airline stewardess. Both of them very, very bright ladies. And, Gina always shared this thought with me. She liked to quote Voltaire, real smart lady. Those who can make you believe absurdities can make you commit atrocities. Oh God, that is so true, and that is a quote of Gina quoting Voltaire. You know, I had a couplet. I trust all us Detroiters will remember. Vote Telford for the school board in November. Well, 14,000 of you voted for me for the school board, but it wasn't enough because the incumbents between them spent about $1 million to get back in, and they did get back in to do nothing again for 4 years. I don't know what we're going to do about that. You know, I've got some plans for it. I think we're going to have to get to Governor Whitmer and have her put in a policy that requires any reading instruction program that any school district brings in has to have a built-in guarantee that they will succeed or they won't be paid. That's where we've come to now. That's where we've come to, and good Lord, you know, Trump endorsed this new guy that's going to be the Speaker of the House, and Trump's a neo-Nazi. Let's face it. I mean, that's what he is. You know, I'm always at the end of these shows, I'm always doing that poem, you know, Uncivil Warfare. It has a subtitle, The Turd That Hasn't Flushed. I'm trying to remember it. On this evil and fatal occasion of the Capitol building invasion, the traitor Trump's collusion demands his execution. God yet hasn't pushed the lever on the traitor Trump forever. And you know, when God does push that lever, it's to be hoped that it's the lever of the gas chamber or of the electric chair, because this man committed treason, okay? You know, what would they have done to Benedict Arnold if they'd have caught him? They would have hanged him. What did they do to the Rosenbergs? You know, they put them in the electric chair. So, you know, today is January the 7th, 2023. January the 7th, 2023. This is the second anniversary of the tragic passing of my third wife, Adrienne Glickman Telford. Adrienne. It's the second anniversary of her passing. And you know, she's been gone 2 years, but she still talks to me sometimes. She talks to me in the middle of the night. So maybe she's listening to this show right now. Who knows? Adrienne, if you're listening to this show, I've written a poem for you. I've written a poem for you. I call it Aquatic Dreams of Scenes Unseen. She dreams in raptured reverie of rainbows, rain, and revelry, of scenes unseen and multi-hued, by bubbling brooklets never viewed. She roams rainforests new and green, by bubbling brooklets never seen. No, that's not quite how that poem goes. Let me try it again. Let me see if I can remember it better. Aquatic dreams of scenes unseen. She dreams in raptured reverie of waterfalls and revelry, of scenes unseen and multi-hued, by bubbling brooklets never viewed. She sees a white-capped tide arising beneath a wide and far horizon. She sails celestial starlit seas in universal galaxies. That's what I hope. That's what I hope for Adrian, that somewhere in some metaphysical space, in some other dimension. You know, John Powell, Professor John Powell of the college out in California, real liberal college, University of California at Berkeley, was my best student at Southeastern High School. He also ran the 2 mile for me many years ago at Southeastern. Probably the brightest student I ever taught, you know, K through 12, graduate school, any level. He once said that there may be more dimensions than the 3 dimensions that we live in, and the 4th dimension, which is space. Maybe there are 44 dimensions or 404 dimensions, and perhaps Adrian is in one of those dimensions. I was expecting to pass before her, you know. She passed, she was 78, 79. I passed, you know, I think about old age a lot. I'm turning 87 this month. In fact, I wrote a poem, The Delta of Old Age. You know, it welcomes us as we drift south toward the great gray river's mouth. Of course, you know what that is. The great gray river's mouth is what we pass into. But I was just reminiscing about Adrian today. If I can, later today, I'm going to get a picture of me and her taken back in 2012, posted on my Facebook page when this show goes on my Facebook page later today. Okay, Jake, let's have Gloria Cunningham with the commercials on the John Telford Show.
Thank you, Doc. Saturday, good morning. Monday, good evening to all you faithful listeners to the Dr. John Telford Show, which is brought to you by the Detroit Native Sun newspaper, where you can find Dr. Telford's Telescope column. Call 313-457-5944 to find the nearest location of this free monthly publication. Also, the John Telford Show is brought to you by the Randolph Law Group at 734 Bulldog. That's 734 BULLDOG. By V's Boutique for Ladies at 313-821-9020, located inside the River House at 8900 East Jefferson, where Telford also resides. By writing it right for you, call 313-341-2398 to connect to this professional writing service. And by Source Booksellers at 4240 Cass Avenue, where you can find all of Dr. Telford's great Detroit-oriented books. Call 313-832-1155. You can also find Dr. Telford's books at Barnes & Noble and Amazon.com. Simply type in Dr. John Telford. The John Telford Show is now also sponsored by Lasting Legacy Photography, which photographs family and friends attending planned memorial services to celebrate the life of your loved one. An album is created with each photo cradled by an area for identification to allow younger family members to view faces of their older relatives for many generations to come. This family heirloom has been appreciated by all. For more information or bookings, call or text Lasting Legacy Photography at 313-658 8018. That's Lasting Legacy Photography at 313-658-8018. Now back to the man of much knowledge and many talents, Dr. John Telford, and his insightful show. Take it away, Doc.
Thank you, Gloria Cunningham, for those commercials in your usual melodious voice. You know, haven't been too many people, haven't been anybody, trying to call into the show today, which I guess is a good thing, because I'm not taking calls on this show anymore. So if you want to call into my show, call into, I get the other show on WJZZ Internet Television. That's Wednesdays at 10 o'clock every morning on WJZZ Internet TV, Wednesdays from 10 o'clock to 11 o'clock in the morning on Internet TV. And if you want to call into that show, Blaine Smith reminded me I should tell people the number, because I don't give you the number on this show. The number to call into my WJZZ show is 313-355-6018. 313-355-6018. That's Blaine Smith, my buddy Blaine Smith, All-American linebacker at Purdue. I played for 3 NFL teams. And after I'm done with the show, I'll be over at his house having lunch. I do that every Saturday. And also, I want to alert my listeners to patronize Miss Virginia Starkey. Miss Virginia Starkey, fondly known simply as V, the proprietress of V's Boutique, because she offers a wide range of fine clothing and accessories for ladies that you can't find anywhere else anymore. Just some fine apparel, all sizes of women's apparel, and V's one-stop, excellent customer service at V's Boutique over on 16423 East Warren, 16423 East Warren Avenue at the corner of Warren Avenue, East Warren Avenue, and Outer Drive, right around the corner from the Alger Theater, and right around the corner from one of the few libraries that is still open. And you can make an appointment by calling V at 248-662-6622. That's 248-662-6622. And while I'm at it, I want to mention to you that Mark Blank Sr. and Bart Blank Jr. run Sinbad's Restaurant. Sinbad's Restaurant over on East Jefferson, right on the Detroit River in Detroit. And it's over on Detroit's east side on the Detroit River. And in my estimation, it is Detroit's best restaurant. I patronize it a lot, and I'm not just saying that because they advertise this WCHB show there. They've got my sign up, Dr. John Telford, WCHB AM 1340, Saturdays at 9:30, and Mondays at 6:30. Saturdays at 9:30 in the morning, Mondays at 6:30 in the afternoon, in the evening. And, they also, that sign says get my books at Amazon, or call 313-460-8272. And I do encourage you to call me, not now, but call me at 313-460-8272. Send me an autographed copy of any one of my books you want, if you would like to do that. And I also write the Poets Corner, in the Downtown Monitor, the Downtown Detroit Monitor, and they advertise me as Detroit's radical poet. That sign that they post as political commentary from Detroit's radical poet. But let me tell you, if I'm radical, and I've said this before, so is the Constitution of the United States. So is the Constitution of the United States, and maybe it is radical now. Given these right-wingers, the Constitution of the United States is radical from the left-wing perspective. because the concept of democracy may be a radical concept in this country. We've got a real problem with these right wingers they're trying to take over this country, and I'm very, very concerned about it. And I should probably be doing more poetry about it. But I've been thinking a lot. It's a new year, 2023. And my dad would be 120 years old if he were still alive. He was born December 1902. I wrote a poem about him. I called it For Scotty, a Caledonian Canticle. Caledonia is ancient Scotland, The Caledonian Canticle. I think how it goes. My dad was in a coal mine when he was 13 years old. His father was a coal miner too. Father's also a boxer. My father was a professional boxer. He turned professional when he was 16 years old, right here in the city of Detroit. It was back around 1918. See if I can remember that poem. For Scotty, the Caledonian Canticle. My daddy didn't die where he was born. Lark Hall, whence ancient kin rode forth on raids, or got well bled at Culloden, or torn at bloody Bannockburn by English blades. A gasping gang of glee, dear mother, I die free. Gang of glee is gone awry. That's Scottish Celtic. No, he died one drab and consequential day on some gray bed in distant Michigan, a billion heartbeats and a world away from highlands where the sons of warriors ran by bright burns, blue and clear, chasing dew-dappled deer. I wrote that poem on May 21st, 1987. That was the day my father, John Scotty Telford, went to his reward. He was inspired by the Robert Burns poem that begins, "My heart's in the highlands. My heart is not here. My heart's in the highlands, a-chasing the deer." You've been listening to the John Telford Show on AM 1340 this Saturday morning, January the 7th, in the year of our Lord 2023. This poem will replay this coming Monday evening at 6:30 p.m. Thank you for listening.
You've been listening to The John Telford Show, coming to you live on Saturday mornings at 9:30 and Monday evenings at 6:30. That's Saturdays at 9:30 live and Mondays at 6:30 on tape. Contact Dr. Telford at 313-460-8272. That's 313-460-8272 to sponsor or appear on his show, or to get his best-selling books, which Huel Perkins, Jeffrey Feiger, Dennis Archer, and the Detroit Free Press have all called spellbinding and sensational. Also, it was the world-renowned Dr. Wayne Dyer who once wrote, "John Telford has a warrior's heart and a poet's soul." Read Dr. Telford's commentaries on the schools in the Detroit Native Sun and the Michigan Chronicle, and be sure to tune in again at 9:30 a.m. Saturdays or 6:30 p.m. Mondays to hear The John Telford Show on WCHB 1340 AM and 96.7 FM, because you can never tell what the extremely outspoken Dr. John Telford will say next week on The John Telford Show.